Tosis welcomes you to the exciting world of StarCraft. Text-to-speech is not permitted during these matches. Subscriptions are available below the stream. Thanks for helping us to keep the chat a nice place to stay. Thank you for coming to our Tosis' stream. Sit back and relax. Enjoy the show.
Hey guys, welcome to Ascension. We are now in the finals. This is the fourth play day of Ascension. After having a nice couple-week ladder phase, we got into this. The top three of each race in the foreign scene have come together and given us some pretty good groups so far. Let's take a quick look at the rules, just as a little bit of a refresher. It is a King of the Hill with the winner staying on. Challenger coming in, chooses the map, and whoever has the most map wins at the end will end up winning the whole thing. It's exactly the same in the finals as it was in the previous rounds. Now let's take a look at who's playing here in the finals. Honestly, a dream finals, one of each race. This is the third Ascension tournament that I've run. This is actually the second time this has occurred, which is super cool. DeWalt, Gypsy, and Zeke all absolutely destroyed their groups. Absolutely dominated. It really, I think the games overall were good, but it was clearly one-sided going through the group phases, which I think makes this so much more interesting. If someone had a really hard time getting through, then I think it's a lot easier to kind of call who's going to win this. And I think really you can have a good argument for all three players. Gypsy is showing a level of Terran that we really haven't seen in the foreign scene before, at least in modern times. DeWalt is, he's the guy, really kind of pushing forward, doing well in every BSL and everything. Zeke, I mean, in my opinion, he is probably the strongest overall foreigner that there is. But honestly, after seeing DeWalt's play against Hawk and then just seeing Gypsy in general, how well he was playing, especially his TVP match, I know that doesn't have a lot to do with TVZ. It's up in the air for me. Going into the tournament, I thought that Zeke was going to end up winning. Now I really don't know. This really could go any way. I hope that we go down to the final map. I hope that we have a tiebreak at the end. We will see about that, but it is certainly time to start. So we're going to go ahead and get into game number one. In the top left of Vermeer, our Russian Protoss player, it's DeWalt. And in the bottom left, our Canadian Terran player, it's Gypsy. All right. So, Vermeer is the first map. By the way, this first match between these two was randomly chosen. Of course, Zeke will come in and play against the winner. This is, and obviously you get that map choice going in as well. A big deal to get every single map win that you possibly can. Every map win in this tournament does count as money as well as some big prize pools for the top three players. So, very exciting stuff. Again, thank you for everyone who has donated to Ascension. If you still want to, it is still available, but won't be after this live broadcast. So go ahead and check that out now. You can use the command Ascension if you would like to. And if not, no problem. This is kind of like a big thank you to all the guys in the chat, all the people in the community, the foreign scene in general. I thought that this would be a lot of fun this tournament to kind of put on something that's some decent production quality and, just some good games with some of the top foreign gamers. I like to see there be tournaments for the non-Korean players. that actually have some decent prize pools, like, of course, BSL being the main amongst those. And then, you know, I like Ascension with my own twist of starting it with equal races. You know, I feel like it makes it kind of more interesting in a way when you don't get as many mirror matchups, even though the finals could end up having them. In this case, we got lucky and it's not going to occur here. Not that mirror matchups are bad, but they are, except for Terran versus Terran. Okay, so taking a look at these builds, no quick scout from DeWalt, getting that Cybernex core before sending... No, not even going to send his probe now. So just really optimizing, probably going to do a Dragoon scout. Gypsy sending out his own SCV, and we'll see. It looks like this was probably an 11 gas here. Yeah, it definitely was. And we'll see him throw down a factory super, super fast. And there it is. Yeah, that is an incredibly fast factory. I know he's happy with this. You do get a slightly delayed second depot doing this, and you'll see he'll get that down now. But you're going to have your Vulture out extremely, extremely quickly with the opener that Gypsy has done here. So, like, for instance, if DeWalt was going for a Nexus first, the Vulture is kind of the linchpin that allows you to break that. A lot of people think it's like the Marine SCV. Obviously, they're an integral part, but the Vulture puts out so much damage so quickly in the early game that it is incredibly important. That's why you don't see anyone ever break a Nexus with a gasless expansion. You know, you actually have more Marines with that, but you don't have the additional couple Vultures that come across. Now, DeWalt going to get an extremely fast Nexus. Look at that. 3 minutes and 8 seconds right before his first Dragoon is out. No range as of yet. Vulture being made. Gypsy has only 2 Marines, and yeah, he's going to go ahead and just throw down his command center. There's no sense in making another Marine. There's no sense in really trying to attack. If he had been already making another Marine, like, there is a chance that you can actually do an SCV Marine Vulture attack against this opener with such a late range. It is actually doable, and you can actually break it sometimes with that. But, you know, it can get a little bit tricky. If anything goes wrong, you're going to end up losing that game. So, Gypsy just going to send out that first Vulture. The Dragoon coming across. He will actually turn. And, of course, well, he is making the third Marine as the Dragoon comes down. No way for that Vulture to get up and really do anything against DeWalt here. He's coming up with the Vulture. Yeah, of course, the Dragoon pushes it back. This Dragoon doing a pretty good job. Picks off one Marine. Just takes a little bit of hull damage. That is annoying for Gypsy, but it's not the end of the world. He's still got his 2 Marines and his bunker. He's done a little bit of scouting. Hasn't really gotten very much there. Obviously took a lot of damage on this Vulture as well, which is highly annoying. With his add-on finishing, well, he's going to go for a siege tank. And look, we'll see if he gets mines. This is almost dead, so I could possibly see him skipping it, although I think it's probably still a good idea. And this is the nice thing about what DeWalt has done. He hasn't shown much. He's shown a Nexus and 2 Dragoons, and that's literally it. So Gypsy has to get this engineering bay, which every Terran player doesn't want to do, but when you block all scouting like DeWalt has, like if DeWalt had shown something like range, right? If he had been hitting the bunker at 4 minutes and 25 seconds or so with the range, well, obviously he saw that he hadn't started, so it'd have to be a little bit later than that, but if he had been hitting the bunker, then you can look at the income and be like, okay, no DTs on the way. But as is, it is correct for Gypsy to make a turret, and I think he will just make the single turret. Doesn't need any others yet. Maybe a minute from now, if he doesn't figure anything else out. Now, the Vulture coming back in, he is pretty deep in the red. So, you know, he can only withstand 2 Dragoon shots at this point. Range finishes up. He gets 1. Gypsy's probably going to realize that that was range finishing. And behind this right now, armory as well as mines. The mines are a little bit late, but this is not a big deal. Like, this is a reasonable opener that we see from Gypsy. To go for 2 tanks with a few Marines. A lot of times you can push back any Dragoons and get your mines out where you want them. But look at this. 2-gate Robo into a 3rd Nexus. This is probably the most standard thing that is in Protoss vs. Terran right now. And not surprising to see that out of DeWalt, since he is somebody who like really does play the standard Korean metagame. Why am I typing in there? What am I, Mapu? You know, he likes to follow what is currently strong and get better and better at it. I think that's a big part of why he's such a good player. But yeah, basically, like this build that we see from Gypsy, you can't actually do anything against this many Dragoons with it. Like, you could go up and poke, and maybe if they screw up, you kill a Dragoon or something, but you'll definitely lose your Marines and have to run home. Here, Gypsy's just setting up a row of mines. Doesn't really have good intel. He is having to throw down some additional turrets, because, again, he hasn't seen the Nexus. He doesn't really know what's occurring. He will in a moment as the Observer comes in. That's going to tell him a lot about what's going on DeWalt's side of the map. But as is, like, I'm looking around, right? It's just an armory. The armory isn't actually spinning yet. Definitely needs to get that going ASAP. We don't have, like, an academy for additional scouting. I mean, he's hitting his depot, so that's important. He's got 2 factories. Looks like he'll probably throw up a 3rd. He's going to really kick himself, though. This is a huge mistake. Like, the longer we see this not spinning, Gypsy is going to scream at himself when he sees that this is not upgrading. This is a big, big deal at the moment. I mean, he's an upgrade Terran anyways. We saw it against Bonneth. His game is really based around, as most good Terrans are, it's really based around getting your quick attack upgrades and getting your quick 2-1 upgrades, right? Into your 2-3 and all, or 3-2 rather. And he just hasn't started yet. So this is really a disaster for Gypsy, unfortunately. He has plenty of money. It's not like he meant to do this. It's just simply a bit of a mistake. Now, DeWalt, everything's going well for DeWalt. He has his shuttle out. He is going to go into the delayed Reaver drops, very likely into Psystorm after that. He does love his speed shuttles quite a bit. His economy is fantastic. 58 probes spread across 3 bases. That's almost a completely full 3-base economy. And Gypsy finally now gets that going. And notice how he just got this started, and he's got his starport going. Like, he's adding a second armory because, like, he's behind in those upgrades. This is a very bad situation for him. Now, here's the thing. I think it's in some ways more demoralizing than anything else. Obviously, you want that +2 attack ready for any attacks that come in from Protoss. It really does help in holding off against these big Protoss attacks that hit when you're, like, kind of setting up your 3rd base and everything. But that doesn't mean he's just going to die because he doesn't have it. While that could potentially occur, I think there's a fair chance that Gypsy can still kind of macro through. As long as he's spending all his money, he spreads everything really well. I think he should be able to hold on still, but we will see. Right now, Gypsy getting that academy. His academy almost done. Definitely going to want to get those comm stats up ASAP because he's still playing rather blind. DeWalt getting a 4th Nexus. 3rd command center not quite done yet, although this actually has very good time on it. The siege tanks moving up here for Gypsy, getting into position. And now DeWalt finally moving forward. DeWalt kind of has his pieces in place. He's got good pylon walls. He's adding a lot of production right now. 4 more gates coming up to go up to 8. Templar Archives, Zealot legs on the way. Taking a forward spot. And here come his double speed shuttles. 6 Zealots and a Reaver. What's the defense? Missile turret, a few mines. Honestly, that doesn't do too much. Gonna go ahead, drop out a Zealot there. Well, he will, excuse me, lose 1 shuttle immediately. Looks like he is targeting down that turret, so he will be able to save 1 shuttle to get the Reaver back up, but this is already doing a very good job. Honestly, like, I would say this is almost worth it already. Ooh, almost loses that Reaver. Has to be careful about that. Doesn't want to lose that quite yet. The Zealot's still running around, killing some turrets and whatnot. Right now, Gypsy only mining on his natural. No SCVs here, no SCVs here. DeWalt, though, full 4 base now, 68 probes mining. Definitely a hard situation for Gypsy. Feels like, I don't know if it's a little bit of nerves. Maybe, you know, is he completely warmed up in this first game? Doesn't feel as strong as what we saw him do against Bonneth. You know, obviously he missed that attack upgrade. That was rough. DeWalt did do a good job blocking scouting, so we didn't get to see from Gypsy's, you know, point of view what DeWalt was up to, so that Gypsy could adjust a little bit what he was doing. You know, he may have been planning to just go for the upgrade Terran anyways. But as is, let's take a look at where we're at, right? We're at 11 minutes, DeWalt up 10 workers and about 30 army supply or so, 35 army supply. Still pouring out of his 8 gateways. His Robo's still making as well, refilling some of these shuttles. Gypsy on the 5 factories. Maybe a little bit late getting up to those 7, you know. I think again, he should be okay-ish. This is a hard area to defend, though, especially if we get into some Psystorm. And in fact, he does have Psystorm coming in. Oh, God. This is going to be brutal. Okay, 4 kills, 2 kills. Actually, not as much as I thought. I thought for sure we would see more than 6 SCVs killed from that. In the meantime, Dewalt trying to poke the front. Will lose a few goons there. But Gypsy actually defends reasonably well. Still up in 60-plus workers. And now he's got to figure out what he wants to do, right? He's adding more factories. Are we going to just see him take a 4th base? I think that is probably the correct play, is to try to set up a 4th base location. Adding the amount of factories that he is, though, like we're going up to 8 facts. That's like pretty full production for 3 bases. Looks like we're going to have some bombing coming in. Gypsy, does he have a good enough position here? More Zealots going down, excuse me, on top of these siege tanks as the Dragoons come in as well. Nothing here to block these tanks from those Zealots. The Dragoons plus Zealots get on top of the tanks down here, and it looks like DeWalt going to smash this army. That is going to be pretty much game, honestly. Like, Gypsy's not technically dead. He definitely isn't going to, like, lose his command center. Maybe he'll lose a few SCVs, a little bit of mining time. He's got enough production to kind of recover this position, I would say. But when you look at the numbers and the fact that there's a 5th base being made, DeWalt's not going to lose this game. Yeah, GG is called, and that is going to be game number 1.